Before you even contact a VC, it's really crucial that you choose the right VC you'd like to contact, which is normally not only one VC, a list of VCs. However, you have to make your own choice. And the first question, and we already discussed that when we introduced the various forms of equity capital, is to get an understanding whether VC is the right investor for your company. And this is based on several questions, and some of the highlights are your company stage, first of all. Are you really, really early or your later stage? The amount of money you need? And I think most important is the understanding of the business you have. And what do I mean with that? Well, if you start with your business, it's highly uncertain that you're successful. So what you're basically doing is reducing uncertainty. You try to understand whether your technology works. You try to understand who your customer is. And only if you know that the technology works, you know the customer, and you know that you can build a customer base which is a profitable base for you, then it is really worth going to a VC. If you do not have a solid understanding for your business model, for potential profitability, it might not be the best to choose a VC, because the VC, out of the portfolio argumentation, pays a lot more attention to grow your business, to make it a big business, because this is where he can have on a portfolio basis his higher return. For you as an entrepreneur, it's a lot more important to have a good knowledge, to use the VC money in the best way in order to scale up. And that's a difference. And this is really important to know for you as an entrepreneur. So if you do not have a good understanding for your business model, if you're really puzzled about that, why don't you try to get more angels on board, especially those guys who might help you with the business model. I mean, always depending on the amount of money you need. However, it is not only about the money, it is about understanding. And VC is always willing to give you money and willing to give you more monies. But note that if he gives you more money, you have to give away more shares. And this is what you might not want as an entrepreneur. So the first three forms of capital, family, friends, your own money, maybe crowdfunding, angels, they all help you in understanding, reducing uncertainty, understanding your own business, your business model. And if you have some kind of understanding, you don't need to have the understanding for the entire world and so on. But if you have that, you'd like to scale up because this is where your sales are. And now you can really scale it up, and that's the inflection point. You can use the VC money in order to do that in a sustainable way. And that's really important for your company. So important is being profitable on a single individual customer basis. Maybe the overhead makes you unprofitable, but with the growth rates, then you can be profitable on the whole entity basis. And this is when you should choose a VC. So this is the first step into choosing a VC. So it's not about VCs in the first step. It's about having a good feeling for, is the VC the right investor for me? And if you can answer that question in a positive way, then you can go into more detailed evaluation of your company and of reasons how to choose a VC in more detail. If you are in a seed stage, by the way, for a VC, it's not really interesting to invest in your company because many seed financing are really too small and require too much hands-on support that venture capital are willing to do that. Besides that, in most cases, business angels are the much better investors in that stage because they can really help you in building your company in the first days. If you're in later stages, be it startup or even expansion, your company gets more interesting for VCs too. So still in startup phases, venture capitalists sometimes are really hesitant. It's not the sweet spot for them, because what they want to do is they want to expand businesses with founders who have a solid understanding of the business model, and they want to make that big. And that's the ideal spot, and this is why expansion phases are the ideal phases to take in VCs. And by the way, also VCs normally think that. If they go in earlier, they might extract a lot from your company. And like again, think about whether it's worth it or whether you can use first day investors to do some more steps, even on some kind of bootstrapping basis or so on. Now, when you have made up your mind that the VC is the right person, you can use more criteria in order to understand which is the right VC to choose. So first of all, what's the reputation, especially, of the venture capitalist? Did he have some great exits, for example? Is he really willing and can he help you? Secondly, what's the stage a VC invests in? So does he really invest into the stage your company is in right now? Thirdly, there are VCs being really specialized on certain industry sectors like fintech or clean tech or so on. So you'll never get a fintech investor investing into clean tech and vice versa. Fourth question is the required financing volume. How much money do you really need? Is the VC willing to make that investment? Or do you need more VCs? Or is it even too small, the investment for the VC you're tackling? And the last thing, and still plays a role, is location of the venture capitalist. Because again, venture capital is also hands-on investment. And if it's a hands-on investment, you want the VC to be able to be in your office quite fast. So there's some rule of thumb, they say it's 2 hours, or it must be reachable. So normally US VCs don't invest into European companies if they don't have a European subsidiary, for example. It's just too far away for them. It's also culturally too far away for them. So that's the fifth question. And if you look at these criteria, they help you to start with a long list of VCs and drive that long list down into a short list, which are the ones you'd like to go and contact right now. So in general, if you like to contact the VC, it's really important to keep 4 things in mind. First of all, listen to your instinct. We already talked about some of these aspects. For example, if he puts you onto the track of slow maybe, you probably have the instinct to get a feeling for that. He never gives you a concrete answer. It's just a process taking away time for you. This is what you have to find out. Secondly, negotiate from a position of strength. If you desperately need money, a VC might be willing to invest, but he's going to extract a lot. And he's probably trying to get a lot of shares. So better try to bootstrap your company to a slightly or whatever profitable basis, and then you might tackle a VC, or you go early enough that you don't need the VCs you're tackling right now. The third thing is try to find shared beliefs. Try to find someone who can really work with you, or you can work with. And the last thing is pay more attention to partnerships. So don't think valuation is most important. The people on the other sides are important. Again, it is still about uncertainty, and you haven't reduced it yet if you are in that position. So if something goes wrong and it's nobody's fault, it's better to have a person you can deal with, and that's a good partnership, than someone who gave you a good deal and now is trying to extract more and more and more. So this is why choosing a VC is a very important step to do before you contact the VC.